So Andy talked an awful lot about TGS, but Santi, what is TGS?
Well, I'm sure glad you asked, Callie. TGS can lay claim to the title of being the world's first ever traveling high school. Thanks to our unique curriculum, which mixes both student-led and teacher-led projects, we're able to explore the unique, diverse cultural experiences of the different countries we go to, as well as our own personal passions. And this allows us to keep a refreshing and exciting learning environment. Whether it is by exploring how we can protect the marine wildlife in Oman, or looking at the usage of drones in South Korea. One of the ways that we learn in TGS is through a certain project called Module.
What are modules, Santi? Well, they are educator-led projects in which students get to explore a particular topic that is generally related to the host country. So, in this case, Bosnia and Herzegovina. The modules are led by a driving question that guides our learning throughout our stay. For example, in my module, I learned how to use both Photoshop and Adobe Illustrator, which was quite difficult because at first I felt like my dad using TikTok. Another thing that happens during modules are excursions, and this is where the students get to learn more about the topic through first-hand experience. Some examples of excursions this term include going on a hike to a waterfall, visiting the Al Jazeera news station, and even doing a graffiti workshop. Over the course of term, students work on a summative or a final product to showcase their learning, and they document all this through a process portfolio, which is essentially a digital notebook. This term, we worked on 4 different modules, and the first one was genomic justice.
Now, as some of you may know, Bosnia and Herzegovina's recent history is turbulent, to say the least. They went through an extremely bloody war in the 1990s, and many families were torn to shreds. Oftentimes, it was very hard to identify the bodies of those who were dead, and Bosnia was forced to turn its head to a new and developing technology, DNA identification. This is where the Genomic Justice module decided to look into. How can we use DNA identification to truly help some of these families go through the mourning process, but also to track down the criminals who were responsible for all of this? So, without further ado, please welcome to the stage Liam and Darina.
Thank you.
Hello.
All right, so I'm Liam from Brussels.
And I'm Arina from Belarus, as Andy mentioned before. Thank you, Andy, for gratitude. Appreciate it. And today we're here to present our module, Genomic Justice, and lead you through some of the main highlights that we had during our experience.
July 11th, 1995, the Srebrenica genocide. This is what we attempted to learn about during our time in module. This is what we want to raise awareness about to our friends and families and to the people close to us at our home, around the world. We want to join the movement of never again, for these occurrences and events to never happen again anywhere around the globe.
For a context, on the 11th of July 1995, during the Bosnian War, at a little town Srebrenica on the east of Bosnia, which is nearby with the Serbian border, became a place of a horrific massacre. The Bosnian Serb force came to the land that was assigned by the UN as a safe zone and executed and separated more than 8,000 people. Later on, this event was classified as an act of genocide, as well as second greatest tragedy in European history after the World War II.
During our time in module, our aim was to answer this very specific question. How can we tell the story of the reconciliation in Bosnia through DNA sequencing and genetics?
So the first chapter of our journey was actually breaking the historical background of Bosnia. That was my favorite part because I kind of liked it, but still. So in order to understand the context better and succeed in the future module activities and experiences, we started by looking at the history of genocide and Bosnian War. And we also took a step back to look at the fall of Yugoslavia. As part of our experiences, we visited Srebrenica Memorial and Crimes Against Humanity Museum, which helped us to understand what are the terms war crimes and crimes against humanity, as well as define what is actually a genocide.
I would just like to give a special thanks to Ari, as Andy said, for planning the historical part of this module. So if you could just give her another round of applause, please. Thank you. So our lab experience. Many TGS students don't have the opportunity or the occasion to actually be in a lab on term, or even partake in any laboratory activities. Therefore, we were extremely grateful for our lab and took the most out of it. We learned about different biotechnological methods, such as gel electrophoresis, DNA profiling, DNA analyzing, STR sequencing, and much more. We had first-hand experiences in being able to make gels, how to use a pipette, and how these effects help the post-war effects of the Bosnian War and Srebrenica genocide, and how the ICMP plays their role in all this.
Last but not least part of our journey was having conversations with those who have demonstrated great resilience and courage in the moments of great challenges. We talked to survivors of war and genocide, and I do personally find that as one of the most powerful and valuable experiences in this module. I don't believe that there is any book in the whole world that can tell you a story better than a person who is really sitting in front of you and sharing his own emotions and feelings.
Our final product. Each time we met a survivor and they've told us their stories, the only thing they wanted in return was for us to share them, to raise awareness to the people around us, to be able to share this to the world. Because there are some people that still deny the genocide and the events that happened. What many people did, and what everyone actually did in our module, was answer the driving question through their own perspective, but also share the stories of the survivors and share their testimonies and what they said to us, which was very impactful. For an example, in my final product, I tried to add the historical and genomic, as well as some survivor quotes and testimonies and what I've learned and what I drew from them into a creative and artistic manner to be able to teach in the world in general.
So in this regard, today we're inviting all of you to visit our module's booth, Genomic Justice, which is aiming to represent the tunnel of hope recreated by TGS students and remind you of the mistakes that were made in the past and should never be repeated again.
So during our module, we dealt with some very heavy content and information, and we liked having these short intermissions, which really helped ease off the emotional intense emotional information that we learned. So we sat down with the Mother of Srebrenica, who made food for us, which was very nice, where we talked about what she had actually experienced, which was very heartwarming and made the experience much better. We also had times in our final product work where we would just play with balloons, which really helped us build a connection between us all and, yeah, just helped us deal through this difficult content.
Well, Liam skipped one slide, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to start with this part. And we want to give the biggest gratitude to the people who were in this module, who don't know about the photos that are going to show up on the next slide. But still, give a round of applause, please, to people who participated in our module and make it unforgettable and very memorable for each of us. Please, a round of applause for Rhiannon, Sally, Charlie, Jesse, Joseph, Wonky, Louisa, Tari, and Andrea. Thank you so much for sharing all those experiences. It was unforgettable. And of course, I want to mention our educators, Kenzie and Alara, who supported us throughout the way and were next to me personally till the very last moment and helping me with setting up the booth. Shout out and thank you so much.
Finally, we would just like to give a special thanks to everyone who made this module happen. who gave us the experiences of a lifetime. So thank you to the International Birch University, to Mohammed, Amir, Hassan, and Almasa. I don't know if you all are here. So the people from ICMP2, Nihad, we also had Mohammed, Meira, Leia, who shared their stories, along with the Potocari Memorial Center and many other people who just made this experience great and taught us so much things that I didn't even know we could learn and existed.
So thank you so much again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.